I'm pretty excited for this one because this one is actually asked by one of my subscribers. And the concept is super simple. My subscribers send their tunes. It could be a lead sound, it could be drums, it could be like a short loop, whatever it is. And I try to fix that tune. So without further ado, let's sit down and pimp some tunes. So the first one is from Anton, and he says he's trying to recreate this Return to Oz monoling break sound. It's a kind of a famous sound as well. He sent me the Ableton file, and let's take a look how it sounds and how we can help him. So this is the sound that he created. Honestly, the sound-wise, he got close, but the notes are quite off, I will say, and that actually affects how the sound is perceived. I will try to make that part. And if you don't know how the original sounds, let me play you the original sound. So it's pretty distorted sound, and in the meantime it's really limited, really pushed all the way up. So we are going to make that sound. And what I'm going to do, take a look at his approach so that I can explain a bit how he thinks. I saw that actually he took the 2 sawtooth, is good enough. I would probably prefer the mini here. And then he had these 2 envelopes. I would probably prefer also shorter decay time and then bunch of effects. And I see that here, the important thing here is actually OTT or multiband dynamics, so that you can exaggerate the highs and decrease the lows and the reverb and the echo. And the one more thing that is actually, I can hear it, it's the kind of pedal, or I would probably go for tape saturation for this one and really distort this middle area so that you can get almost weird sound. So I think his approach is right. Only problem is like he had to listen a bit more carefully, and that is actually something that you develop in time. So keep doing it, you are doing it right, it just needs a bit push. So let me quickly write down the notes so that we have them. So I just write down the notes. I think it's something like this. It could be slightly different, really, but the purpose of these videos are not getting exactly the same remake, but getting close enough in a short amount of time. So it sounds like this. So you can hear that we are getting there, it's pretty close. But I heard from the original track that you had these really dark, low oscillators, and you are distorting quite a bit to get this really gritty distortion sound. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on both oscillators, turn on the filter, put the filter on 24 dB so we have darker sound, and open this up a little bit. And right afterwards, I'm going to give a little bit like a attack here on the envelope 2 and envelope 1, so that we have this, let's say, initial sound. And decay I will probably get somewhere around like, let's say 900, and then it should be a bit shorter. We are going to put the second one on the cutoff now. Let's grab something here. And push this one octave above now. You don't hear much, but we will fix that. We're going to give a little bit release on that. So I'm going to give it a long release so that there will be a nice tail on back. And probably the other way around. Now we are starting to hear stuff. I'm gonna open volume a bit more. Try more. Give a bit fat and take off the resonance. You see that goes to the red part, which means that we are starting to cut the sound and it gets more distorted, which is just fine because we're going to really distort this one. We are going to do all the things that you will hear a lot that you shouldn't do, and we will do all of them. And the second thing here is basically kind of adding this distortion. And then a little bit from this one as well. You can feel that we are getting the vibes now. And then finally here, the thing that I will do is like add a very fast pitch envelope so that we have this kind of sound in the beginning, almost like a kick. And we're going to put the other way. And I'm going to put a little bit to the other sky as well. And one final thing, I'm also going to change the oscillators to moog. It has this nice, like a smooth, like a sine wave with sawtooth. It sounds a bit warmer for my ears. It's hard to hear, but when you distort the things, you can hear it a bit better. Actually, I feel like we should use this one to the 3 because this is a low end, this is the high end. Let's get the high end a little bit like open. like that. Okay, that's it. The important thing over here, I think, for this sound is adding this compressor and using it in multiband so that you can push these middle parts really hard so that you can get this gritty sound. So we're gonna exactly do that. You should start feel how those mids are coming through, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a distortion on top of that. I'm going to go for the soft clip, probably something a bit smoother. Yeah, soft is probably better. Really driving hard. And finally, I'm going to put another filter, use that second envelope here. Yeah, we are getting there. The one thing that we forget, we should put this onto mono mode as well. I'm going to give a little bit legato. And that is really important because when you play two notes on top of each other, so let me explain you a bit here. Like this one will flow on top of this one, like almost like when you play the guitar, when you move your finger, you will have this kind of whoop effect. So it's basically the same idea. So if I play one more time in mono. So it's a bit better now. And here the important thing now comes to the saturation. And the one that I like to use here is actually the tape saturation from Dennis. So to get ultimate drive from the sound, what I did, put the bed tape, like push it all the way and put a limiter so that we are not reading everywhere. So we are driving the limiter quite hard, get even more harmonics from the sound. So it sounds like this. It sounds really interesting, but you also get it makes the sound almost smoother, in the meantime more distorted, and that's exactly what we are going for. And right after this one, I'm going to use the OTT and to drive even more. Like we did already multiband dynamics, I think it's not enough. I have to do more to get that really gritty sound. So we put the OTT, it sounds like this now. It's even more distorted, but I think it sounds a bit too much. So what I'm going to do, let's push this a bit up. So bring the lows a bit, bring the amount a little bit as well. Oh yeah, like this sounds really cool. You almost get this grit out of the sound, and the only thing that is probably missing is EQing, like matching a little bit with the original sound and giving this nice ambient. But I'm going to do to get that ambient, I'm going to use the vintage verb, put this down as well. Give it yeah, you see, it's already there. This is quite good. The thing that we can do here is actually duplicating this and doing a wet dry chain. We can have a bit more control over the wet signal, which he had actually done in the original here, which is very good, kind of reverb, up. And then let's do a compressor on top of that. And let's bring this down, do a very fast side chain as well. It's like something like this. I think it's good enough. And the final thing is actually adding an echo. I just add the echo and I move it in front of the delay as reverb as well, and it sounds like this. almost there. The final thing is probably EQing a little bit. This part could be like listening and EQing all the time, so I don't want to get copyright strike. So let me quickly do all these small things, small adjustments, and come back. So finally, I added a bit EQ here and actually added 2 more EQs right there. I was testing the stuff and pushed the limiter a bit more, I think. And yeah, that's more or less what I said, and small adjustment here and there. I just drove this, but it doesn't do anything, honestly. Just there, I just test a little bit. But anyway, it sounds finally like this. Just like that. I think it's close enough. And again, this is not a remake video, but I think it almost got like a remake. I will probably, now I have the lead sound, probably I will make a remake video of whole track sometime in the future. But other than that, so the next sound is coming from Marcela Dominguez. And he says the file with all the necessary content is here. I'm taking this one because I quickly take a look, and this one is more like a complete short loop, so that we can make a different things on the loop, so that I can explain also why I do it, the things, so you can also get a bit idea about our cohesion of a track and how you should think about it. So the first thing here is actually I received a lot of project files, but most of them was not frozen. Please don't forget to freeze the track and click collect all and save. So click collect all and save this option, otherwise I won't be able to hear the samples. So let's take a look how this sounds. Honestly, it sounds like good. It sounds like there are a lot of things there that can make a really good track, or at least good loop. But I think the overall balance in the track is quite off. Like things that should be thrown not in the front, and the low end feels a bit weird. It's not really giving me like this dance vibe or this heavy vibe. So we will fix all of this stuff. Unfortunately, he didn't put it here, so I'm not gonna do it here simply because it could be quite complicated for other people, other DAW users. So let me quickly put everything here and we take it from there. Just copied it here so that we can actually do before and after. So the first thing that I realized in this one is, let me unfreeze those. The low end was not really there. I want to take a look one by one. The first thing was the kick, sounds like this. It has this really long tail, and the sound is a bit too, I would say, boomy. And one of the reasons that being boomy is I saw that there was a decapitator on the group as well. So I'm not sure about this one as well. Maybe I will put down a little bit dry bit. But the first thing that I'm going to do here, just turn this off so that I can hear the dynamic range of the kick. Yeah, now it is like much less distorted. I like the sound, but I think these are not the right kicks. And I'm gonna put maybe tight kick here and a bit soft kick here. It sounds like this. It doesn't feel it change anything, simply because we have this EQ here turned on and drum bass turned on. I'm gonna turn those off and play one more time. Now we can hear this like a really gritty kick and like real soft smooth body as well. And then what I'm going to do, play around with these like a boom boom sound. I think much better. And then from here I can go to actually the group and take a look at the decapitator part. So if we play again, I'm going to turn this glue off. Something like this. And then I'm gonna play with the glue a little bit. And then once we get that, I also feel like the kick is really long, 250 milliseconds. So I would probably like sidechain the soft kick to the kick so that we are like digging that tail a bit. So I know it sounds a bit really weird, like sidechaining something to the kick because of the always around. But if you take a look at the notes, actually this thing never plays when the kick hits. So we are not actually really ducking the original kick. So what I'm going to do, bring a compressor, here we go, and then I'm going to sidechain it to this off kick. I want to do it very fast as well. So this is good. Then we are from there, take a look at the bass. I think it is good, but I don't see... We should just delete this guy over here. We don't need it because it's double. And then we can think about this a little bit now, because I see that you are cutting the lows, but I don't see any reason because there's no other bass at the moment and the kick is not that long anymore. So we're gonna let that go a little bit. Sounds good. The other thing that I'm considering now is I see that you are using the reverb a little bit. Maybe I can sidechain it, but I see that you did it. Very good. And you have the LFO too. That's very good as well. So there's not really much to do. Maybe we can play with the volumes later on, but I will just let that go. And from that part, I'm gonna go for the synths and take a look what you have here. I think you have some fun stuff. Let's unfreeze them. I think this is a very interesting sound, and we can make a lot of stuff from this sound. And I see that you are having this kind of instrument rack. Let's open that cutoff a little bit. Let these highs pass through, because if you listen to the track, there is no highs really. Right, that. And then we don't actually have kind of a movement in the sound, but I'm thinking now to create this movement. So if I start playing with this one, something like this. So the easiest way to record that one is actually just clicking that one and clicking that one and just recording it. Let's simplify the envelope so that we can play a little bit more afterwards, just like that. I'm just going to copy over this guy to here, just like that. And let's play around and see if it sounds better or any better. Now we have much more movement in the sound. I'm going to boost a little bit here so that we can emphasize the highs more. Great. And I see that you have the LFO tool here. I'm not really sure doing it this aggressive in this sound. Maybe something like this, a bit smooth. Just like that. I think that's good enough. And then I saw that you have this kind of lead sound on the end. I think it is not strong enough, so we have to find something a bit more stronger, something a bit more like hornish that really gives that vibe to us. The thing that I'm going to do, honestly, just delete this. Just put a serum, because I know there is a preset that I made on my preset pack that could pass really nicely here if we go to Ultimate Serum preset pack. And that lead sound is actually called the Dirty Soil lead, and it's really passing for the hornish type of sound. So it sounds like this. Yeah, really cool sound. And what I'm going to do, play with the cutoff a little bit here. Maybe we can add like a LFO to the trigger mode and put it into 1, 2, so it goes up, and then put that on cutoff. And I will probably put that a bit bigger as well. If we play the track again. This gives like much more grit into it, and I will just take off this sense that you have done. Yeah, it's just a sound and gives really nice ambience. And then I saw that you have this really nice ARP. It sounds really nice actually. It sounds like this. Again, the issue here is actually kind of closing this down. I see that cutoff here. It's really nice and bright sound, and actually play around nicely with the other synth that you had here. Like here, in this area, the other synth plays quite a bit, and we can push this on the upside so that we can have a little bit more sound. I think the pan is phasing a little bit, so I will try to take that off. It is not really working, so I'm gonna take that off. We can come up with a bit more interesting stuff later on. And this weep sound, I think we can actually fix that a little bit if we add a glue compressor and glue a little bit. Let's do it pretty fast. And I will slightly add a reverb here to make it a bit more smoother. We can even glue it with the reverb actually, if we make it a small reverb. And finally, I'm just gonna add a compressor and sidechain the kick. One final thing would be if I put an EQ here in case I want to mask the mix a little bit later with this too. But I will just let it go now if we play together now with the track. I can hear more elements at the same time, and I'm having more air. I'm having like a more braid in the track. And the final thing is actually the drums or the hi-hats. Let's defreeze them as well. The problem here, I think they are nice. It's a bit too transient. It's like too, I don't know, it's hard to explain. And the first thing that I will probably do also that the Breakwood, this one we won't be able to really hear this one in the mix if I play it. It's just like in the behind, hard to hear. I'm gonna bring that to the front a little bit. And what I'm going to do, open this up, start straight. And I'm not really sure about this slap, whatever it is. We're gonna take that off, and then later on I'm gonna make this a bit more like a organic so that I can have a bit more feel to it. Just like that. And I see that you have this nice different notes, but I'm thinking, what if we can do like two triple, almost like a traps like sound? Can it enhance the groove? Like here, for example, what if we have done like a triple, if you saw like that? Maybe here as well. I will probably come back as a last stage of the track just to enhance the overall groove, but just to keep it this way, it will remind me that I have to come back later on. Let's make the tone a bit brighter. Finally, I think I also need a compressor over here to give the groove to this sound as well. So let's go for that. Yeah, I think it sounds much cooler, much more open, much more driving. And the other thing is here, like I mentioned, the hats are too transient, too like a kind of almost hitting stuff. And I think because of this beat repeat, distorting a bit the sound. Not really sure. There are a couple of things that we can do. We can either change the hats and so on. But let me quickly just change the samples and come back later on. Okay, so basically what I did is I kept the sample, but I added a bit vocoder and compressed it a little bit, so it sounds like this now. A bit organic, but the other thing that I did is actually completely change the hi-hat sample. I found a bit more open one, like a bit splashy one. And I think on the head groove, I didn't do much. I probably changed a bit the overdrive. And overall, on the group, I added a bit overdrive, a bit glue, a bit slight reverb on top of that to glue everything together. And it sounds like this now. And if we compare to the before here, I think it should be this, guys. It was too contained. If we go back and listen to the newer version, it's much more open, much more spacey. And if we take a look all together now, how it sounds. I think it just needs a bit overall tuning with all the things a bit more. Let me quickly do that and come back. Okay, so basically I just volumed up the kick a little bit and then just changed the automation a little bit on the lead sound. Really nothing much other than that. And it sounds like this now. It's like much more spaces, and then we can feel the dynamic range of the kick a little bit more. It's not really like a pressed down, if that makes sense. And let's do A/B comparison so that you can also hear the difference. Basically now everybody has a place in the mix, and then things are evolving a bit more, and we have a bit more suitable samples that is passing to the sound, I will say. Yeah, and that's it. And yeah, I think that's it for the video today. And if you like the video and if you like me to continue to this concept, just let me know, drop your comments below and send me your tunes that you want me to pimp. Other than that, if you like the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.